Welcome back, Canadian Spartan community. We have a very exciting guest online with us today, Nic, who's here to talk about all things Spartan 2025 season. Specifically, we've got Brimacombe coming up, so we're going to dive deep into what's about to go down this weekend and this year. So, Nic, welcome back to the podcast.
Amber, Jill, thank you so much for having me again. Spartans, hello, and welcome back to another season of Spartan. We're back.
We're back, and it's a
So
busy one this
excited.
year.
Mhm.
It's a busy one. It's a busy one. Hopefully, we get good weather everywhere. We get good participation, but it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, we've got Brimacombe this weekend, and then Tremblant is in June. And then there's actually a lot happening in August because there's Calabogie, Red Deer, and Ottawa. Sorry, I knew I was missing one. I just couldn't think of it. So let's talk first. Yeah, let's talk first about Brimacombe. Now, the race map has not yet been released, so I know you probably can't give us too much. However,
Give us some secrets.
yeah, give us some secrets. We know there's a
I
5K and
will.
a 10K super and sprint. Is it similar to last year or previous years? What hints can you give us?
I always give you guys hints, and you guys should know this, all right? This is the exclusive podcast where you can get the ins and outs of Spartan. Come on.
It's true.
Yeah, no, this season it's going to be cool again. I mean, we've been at Brimacombe so many years, so there's just so much we can do here. There's only so much we can really exploit in the mountain itself. So it's going to be a combination of a couple of the previous years. We have rotated the start and the finish from last year, so some of the ups and downs are going to be a little bit different. Obviously, the it's the same a little bit of the same layout. I do believe we're going back around the lake this year, which we haven't done, I think, in probably 3 or 4 years, maybe even before pandemic. So yeah, so we're
Ooh,
gonna be we're gonna be doing a little around the lake here in Toronto, and yeah, I think it's going to be a cool course. Elevation is not too bad for the sprint. Super, I think, is a bit. I think there's more elevation gained than last year, but I mean these people have been doing this for a long time. They've been training. They deserve a good course with some good elevation.
Yeah,
that's so true. So the lake, I have not been witness to the lake yet, so that's very, very exciting for me. I know we've gone through the swamp, so immediately when you said lake, I thought, oh, that's just the swamp. So how exciting. Are we going through the lake or just around the lake?
Just around the lake, unfortunately, and the swamps right now don't seem that deep, but we are expecting a few days of rain now until the weekend and on the weekend, so maybe those will get a bit muddier. So yeah, there's a little bit for everyone here.
well, I mean, Brimacombe is always muddy, whether it's man-made or natural, because I mean, there's
Oh
been
my
what was
gosh.
it 2 years ago when you had the water hose out over the bear
Over
or
the
the
barbed
barbed
wire.
wire crawl,
That's
not
right.
bear crawl. Um, I just did Deca Atlas on the weekend, so my head went to bear crawl, but the barbed wire crawl, and that was the muddiest mess, and it was just so much fun because it was right at the end too. That was so. I feel like Brimacombe's just known to be muddy.
It is. It is. It is. And then it's already going to be rainy, but we do have the option of throwing a couple more of those rain or those snowmaking guns out there. So who knows where we're going to pace them? We haven't decided yet. So it might be out there. Who knows?
Might be out
That makes
there.
more fun stuff like that, though. As long as
And
it's not freezing cold.
Yeah, I think it'll be in like the high teens, low 20s. So we'll be nice and good
that's
for the weekend.
perfect.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
perfect.
And
The hurricane
we
heat
haven't had a
that's
dump yet.
happening as well.
Yeah, that's mhm.
Yeah, the hurricane heat's happening. I actually don't know how many participants we have. I think we have in the 30s, 30 participants coming to do that. 4 hours of endurance on the mountain here. I'm sure they're gonna use, like we were saying, the the mud down there and some of the wet parts. But it should be pretty cool. One of our crypteas is coming over, and he has a really fun plan for the people. I will not reveal, but it's going to be a fun one. And one cool thing about it as well is that some of the racers will be able to witness it a little bit, or around in and around the festival, just because it's in the afternoon here, compared to some of our U.S. counterparts where they're doing it in the middle of the night. So it's going to be a bit more approachable for people to see and be exposed to what hurricane heat is. But it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I have some questions about this season because there's a few things that I feel like we'll love, and maybe a few things that we're not excited about, or maybe we are. But let's talk about the burpees and how does that
Burpees.
affect Canada? I heard we're doing burpees again, Nic.
Only a little bit. I know, just a little bit. And Joe he was very strict about this. He said burpees at spear throw. And so we listened to him. And I think that's kind of the worst place to have the burpees, but I think that's the whole point.
Well,
It is.
So
a few
For
people I
me, because
trained.
last year I nailed it. It's like I only missed it once all season. Now I
okay.
say that, and I'll probably miss it all weekend, but because of the burpees.
Well,
Yeah,
a few
the added
people
pressure,
that
right?
a few people I train, they've gone down into the States already a few times this year to do some Spartans, and they were like, "Thank God you make us do burpees." But now what they've done is now they've created like spear throws in their backyard to practice because they don't really want to do the burpees. They preferred the penalty loop. So it's
And
Exactly. Yeah.
let's be real. Let's be real on this though. If you are doing DECA, another Spartan product, we're so used to doing burpees with the darn Rams that regular burpees seem a little like a lot better anyway. So I think we're well equipped now. Joe has burpees in every product that he has. So he's getting his burpee way,
The
but
best
nothing
exercise
else.
out there. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
it's true.
No other surprises with that though. Everything else is penalty loops as far as you know.
Penalty loops everywhere else, which we were trying to keep it nice for everyone, nice and approachable, and it's also for the sport, right? It's like sometimes burpees are kind of difficult to make sure that they're enforced exactly correctly the way that people are doing them. So, with some, we don't have a ton of volunteers yet. We're trying to expand our program as much as possible, but I think just having it there, making sure it's right and it's fair for everyone is perfect. Before if ever Joe wants to bring him back everywhere else, then we'll be stepping into that step by step more so than just going out with it. But yeah, so burpees at spear throw only.
Can you imagine? Okay, I just did some math in my
Yeah.
brain. Can you imagine if you had to burpee at every obstacle that you failed? Like 30 per obstacle failed.
Every
600.
single person who did Spartans before penalty loops though is rolling their eyes right now because they actually did that. And I can think of one person in my brain right now who's now an elite athlete, didn't say it didn't fend her off at all, and that's Caroline Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Her first race was like burpees everywhere, and it took her forever. And now she's podiuming. That's a hard word in the elite category. So maybe it was the burpees.
Maybe it had a part to play in her becoming an elite and one of the best in Canada, right? Doing all those burpees.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well, they say,
she's
what
got
doesn't
the
kill you
grit,
makes you
right?
stronger. So
And, yeah, Jill. Yeah, I know for the ultra, like that's my jam. I couldn't imagine having to do burpees, but I say that now, and Joe could listen and go, "That's exactly what we're doing next year." Or maybe the penalty, or not the penalty loop, the extra ultra loop could just be burpees. Who knows?
That could be cool. That could be cool. I think you're giving him way too good of ideas, by the way.
they'll be like doing like burpee broad jumps up the hill for the ultra loop.
I'll cut it all out. All this is getting cut.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That's a different change. Another one is now we're doing competitive is different a little bit this year. So you got to choose elite and competitive is age group. Now you have to choose. So do you know what the rationale behind that was? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think about that?
I love it. I love it so much, so much, so much. So I think selfishly, I love it because on the organizer side of things, it makes things much easier, especially when you're sending off people in the morning, right? We've gone back to doing elite and age group, which and I think most of the sports it works like that. The pace groups we had last year, I think it was more so. I think it was based off of other sports, or I don't know exactly where the idea was for that, but this one works much more smoothly because we had to send people out in the pace groups that they had pre-selected online, and then you'd get to the start line, but people forgot if they were in 2 and 3 and 4, if they went first, if they spoke English, French, or sometimes they couldn't understand the language you're talking about because they're coming from, I don't know, Spain or something. So it was kind of difficult to manage everyone going out and in the respective pace groups. So, and I think we're all flawed a little bit as humans, and we sometimes don't. Judge ourselves accurately, right? We're like, oh yeah, I could totally be in pace group too, and then totally not be in there. So I think for being for being fair with everyone, I think age group works really well. Everyone knows what the age they are, and it's an easy thing to ask
Mhm.
people, and they have that band with them. So so yeah, on our side, it makes it easier. I think on the racer side, it's something that's known to the public. We've been doing that. Before last year, we did that pretty much our whole existence. For a while, we've been doing that, and so I think that it brings people to something that they know know they can achieve, and I think that opens some doors to people that want to make sure that they run with the people in their age group, that they don't have disadvantages or advantages by running in different pace groups and still getting those same age group awards. So I think that'll be a good addition for everyone. And then
Yeah.
it's the return of the national series, obviously for the age group, but then we have an elite series this year as well. So it's the return of the elite series. I can't remember what it's called 2 years ago, but we did have the same one. So it's everything kind of back to the roots, everything back for maximum competition.
Awesome. I love that. Anytime you can get people to be more competitive, it's going to be more exciting. I think you're right, though, about the age group. With age group, it allows you to run with the people and you kind of get to know the people in your age group. And, you'll see other people from different pace groups. I know I always like to go out because I'm a little older, I know. But the young guys will come out and they'll pass me, and I'm always waiting for the high five. So
That's right. That's right. But I think, yeah, you're right. I think um, a little rivalry never hurts anyone, right? Hockey, whatever it is, football, you always like a good rivalry. And I think seeing the same people at the same start line and, oh, she got me last time, he got me last time, or I got him last time, I got to keep my lead or whatever, I think it's going to bring some fun experiences with everyone and seeing those safe faces again and again. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great this year, and hopefully you'll see the numbers in competitive. How is Brimacombe doing in terms of numbers? Are we going to see a big race? What's happening?
We are seeing a little bit of a kick from last year, so we're going to have more. Unfortunately, I do have some bad news that we are expecting some rain and some thunder, lightning, potentially in the afternoon of Saturday. So that might impact the
Oh.
number of people that we see on site. Yeah, we do
Mhm.
have like a protocol in place to make sure that we keep everyone safe. So obviously, if there are if the lightning and the thunder is too close over, then we will make sure to kind of shut down the event until we can open back up, and we'll have all the comms ready for that. But in terms of registered numbers, we're looking really really good at the moment. We have pretty close to 6,000 people registered. A lot of kids also. We have. Let me pull that up for you. Kids. We have about 1,300 kids showing up to Toronto. So they're
That's
coming in
amazing.
strength. Yeah, they're I think for a ratio of who can drive themselves versus can't drive themselves, the kids are winning that one. They can't even drive themselves, and they're still making their way with 1,300 people to the race. Whoa, that's crazy. So yeah,
You
a lot of
know,
people here this year.
and I work with kids. That's my main job. And parents are looking for things to do that are different and not just the traditional sports. They're also looking for outdoor things, and they're looking for things that give their kids grit. This is a trend that we see throughout my business. So it totally makes sense. And it's such a cool sport for a kid to get into. Like, how cool is it to do this crazy race and there's mud and chaos and you got to climb this big mountain, and then you go home with this really cool medal. So I get it. I love the kids side. Also your staff at the kids side, if it's the same ladies, they're amazing over there. They make the whole experience great. So hopefully
Yeah.
and same ladies.
They love and care for the product, the kids, the race so much. And one of them is unfortunately gone, but the rest of the two are there. And then one of their acquaintances is coming to fill that role back in. So it's going to be the same energy, the same love, the same care, and the same passion for the kids, the sport, and the event. So it's going to be good.
Awesome. And is it a similar race for them this year as last year?
Similar race, very similar race. Again, we've switched the start and the finish line just to create like a different perspective on the mountain. The same area we're using, but it is going to have a couple differences here and there. We don't have new obstacles for kids, unfortunately. That maybe that's something we could look into to kind of keep it fresh for the kids. But I think when you're a kid, I feel like your memory, your long term memory is a bit different. So maybe they've forgotten all about last year and it's going to be brand new to them. So there you go.
Yeah. There's also a thing with, we always want to give them a new experience, but at the same time, they might have grown an inch or 3 inches and now they're stronger, or maybe they were 10 last year and now they're 11, which is close to 12. So they're getting a lot more muscle. And
Right.
so it's a different experience. And now I can do that without my dad standing there or my mom doing it with me. So I think there's a lot in like trying to get better each year. So I think you could do a lot of the similar stuff. You couldn't get rid of some of them, right? You could never get rid of the cargo nets or, even the Z walls. That one's pretty fun. And
Yeah, it's a mimic of the adult course, and I agree. I think if they have a similar course year over year, they can really see how they've improved, how their skills have improved, their muscle growth, whatever it is, right? If they're into fitness a lot, they can track that a lot. If not, if they're doing it just for fun and want to give themselves a challenge with their friends, then it's perfect for that.
and then they can go and then bring their parents next time.
Precisely.
And then we're carpooling, so there's not as much traffic in the parking lot. And probably we should talk about that. Just if you're coming, it's usually a pretty busy parking lot. So get there early would be the suggestion, or what would you say?
Definitely, exactly those words. So, come in early as much as you can. We have, the one parking lot at Brimacombe is not the largest, so we have a lot of backup parking lots, and it will maybe take you, a couple minutes to get from the top lot, let's say, if in the afternoon to the main festival area. So definitely come, at least half an hour to 40 minutes before you were intending to come on site, to get registered and all that. Just because, yeah, those will come in. So parking is one of the things that I dislike the most about this place, but it's so iconic. We've come here so many times, so I think it's worth it for all the racers to come here. There's some cool trails and everything. So yeah, I think it's worth it.
I think Brimacombe is the perfect start to the season because it is not the craziest elevation, but it's got a mix of everything. And it's usually nice weather because of where it is. It's, not Tremblant. And so it's a great season opener. And trust me, I love Tremblant and I'll be back there too. But you know how Tremblant is. It's not very nice all the time.
No,
or ever.
no. I think last year was all right, but 2 years ago with that snow, that was a bit demotivating for everyone. So yeah, agreed.
Yeah, last year was really nice. I did the ultra last year and the year before. I found it's really funny because last year I found the course not easier, but it was definitely not easier. It was less challenging because the weather was like perfect. So the year before, it just was, everything was hard. Plus the weather was horrifying. And the year before that was even worse. So
It was.
yeah. But we had a few mental things happen in the ultra, as you probably remember, which you could just throw under the rug and say you meant to do it. But there was something with the ultra lap came on the second lap. I don't think it got open. Doesn't matter anyways, because you sign up for an ultra and you do what you do.
Absolutely.
But
I think at the end the mileage was somewhat right. So we made it happen.
oh yeah, the mileage was totally right on my watch. My watch is pretty good. It was, I might have been a little bit over too, but I know getting to the transition area at the bottom from that race, I was like, this doesn't seem right, but we're going to go with it. Maybe my watch glitched. I don't think so, but who knows? And nope. But again,
it was
Spartan
funny.
is not about easy routes.
No, it's funny. I'll give the little anecdote on this one. But so we usually design our courses using Google Earth, and it gives us really good readings on distance and everything. And so throughout the week, one of my course markers did the course and told me we are way over on mileage. And I think their watch or something, their GPS was off, right? And so I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, cut some of the course and everything. And then we get to the elites come through at the first lap of the ultra, and we see, oh, we are under by a lot. And so the watch way overestimated, and Google Earth was pretty much right on point. So for the second lap, we had to add some of that distance back in. So on live, as the event was happening, we were remarking a part of the missed um, first laps ultra loop. And so that's why it was a little bit confusing. But our team was able to make sure that that distance was correct for you guys at the end, and that's something the whole team's pretty proud of.
And I think that was fantastic because it didn't glitch. It glitched mentally, obviously, because that is challenging. You think you're done more of the race, even though it didn't make sense. I had in the back of my mind, something's not right here because there's no way. So I kind of had we're going to get tricked here, but you couldn't tell anyways. I mean, did I love bushwhacking up and down the hill? Didn't love it, but did I get through it? And am I proud of myself? Absolutely.
And so you
Medal.
should.
Nic, are you guys gonna do any more ultras? Or are you guys just gonna keep it at Tremblant in Canada? Like, are you guys gonna do one in blue?
We'd love to see one in blue. It's just I think what's going to happen with blue is if we do one there, the entire courses for the sprint, super, beast, ultra will just be ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs because we only have so much real estate, right? So to me, I think it's worth it to have only a beast there and make the experience better for the beast, the sprint and the super. So it's not just up and down, especially for those newcomers, right? We want to make sure that we're approachable and we're something that people can step into and from a distance to another distance. So to me, it's very important that we keep the sprint, a fast race for the pros like yourselves, but also an approachable race for the beginners, and then step it up from there with the super and the beast. So that's kind of what limits us. But to answer your question, that's definitely something we're looking into to bring it back. There's one venue in one of the portfolios that we have right now that we return to often that we're looking at the option of adding an ultra, or not an ultra, but at least a beast too. So I'm going to leave it to that for the suspense. But so we're looking at options, and we're definitely always looking on the lookout anyways to add some events, add some distances to the venues that we have, or just replacing those. So it's definitely in the works. And I know, especially out west, we've talked about this last year as well, but we need to find a way to get back in there. That's something that's viable for the business, but also good for the racers, because we do care so much about our Western Canadians out there. So that's definitely something we're looking into, bringing back some of those harder distances out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
One fun thing we're bringing back, I didn't know if you guys knew, did you guys ever do the memory test? Is that an obstacle you did?
No. What is the memory test?
Aha. Okay. So back in the day, we used to have this fun obstacle. And you were talking about mental challenges and mental, the mountain was your mental challenge, but we're going to bring an actual challenge for everyone. It's a memory test. So we're going to have basically a big cutout, and then basically, depending on your age, there's going to be a sequence of numbers and letters that you have to remember, and come to the transition area. You're going to have to repeat that code, and if you don't remember that code, then you're going to have to do a penalty, unfortunately. So that's one of the old school. Yeah, that's just for the ultra. So you're welcome. But that's one of the old. That's one of the old schools obstacles that we are kind of bringing back into the mix, just to mix it up a little bit.
I think it's so cool. And of course, you're going to do it like late into the race when we're already tired. Like, don't expect to see that in the first half of the race. Like, it's going to be paired with the sphere throw when you're frustrated. You probably just did 30 burpees, and then they're going to be like, oh, okay, now go do a memory test.
We'll take care of you. Don't you worry.
100%.
I love that.
I help everyone mentally prepare.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can practice that. We'll recite poems while we train or something.
Yeah, that's good. Or play some memory test or something. I know there's apps for that too these days.
Yeah, we do it in our business.
Heat, though, I did it not last year. I did it the year before at Brimacombe, and we had to remember lyrics. Oh, yeah. I won't give away too many details because I don't know what they're doing this year, but yeah, there was lyrics we had to remember. And then it was interesting the way they used them in the hurricane heat, because it wasn't necessarily like when you thought, or in the like it was anyways. So it was hard. I will say
there's
that.
Levels to it, yeah.
Yeah, it was harder than you thought. It's not just like, oh, here's the lyrics because you're tired and you're doing other things, right? And by the way, I still remember the lyrics.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, it takes me back to Rubicon.
I love that.
How much fun that is. So
Core
any
memory.
other exciting things coming for this season? What can you tell us to get ready for this season? We're definitely going to have you back. We want to do more with Nic this year so that we can maybe hound him after the race if it was crazy, or, then we can tell you all the feedback that we heard, and that would be amazing. But give us a little synopsis before we let you go to build the course, because you're on
Sure
site,
thing.
aren't you?
We are on site. Yeah, we're in the chalet right now. I think a couple things. So yeah, we're bringing the memory test to the Ultra, so that's going to be a fun one. We are bringing back Helix, which hasn't been in our courses, I think, for 2 years. So Helix is coming back. I don't know if it's a fan favorite, but I know some people definitely enjoyed it. We've received some messages pretty much everywhere in the world, like, "Hey, where's Helix?" So we brought it back. And apart from that, you'll see all the classics. You'll see all the classic spearmen, or spear throw, rope climb, herc hoist. All the walls are out there. Barbed wire crawl. Although we don't know if we're going to put the cannon on it this year or not. Who knows? We got. Yeah, so in terms of the obstacles, that's pretty much what we have. We do have a team that is advancing, so we have a new event director as well. So he's the one. He came in a little bit late, so I designed this course and I designed Tremblant. But after that, he's going to bring his own fun twist to Red Deer. And sometimes my mother always has this saying where sometimes if you're too close to the tree, you don't see the whole forest. Right? I've been to Red Deer for probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, and we've done the course a certain way every time, and we've kind of tried to switch it up. But with new, fresh set of eyes, he's brought in a really fun course for that one. So I'm excited to see that one, Ottawa, and beyond the fun courses that kind of he reimagines. So I think that's going to be pretty fun. We're back in the village in Blue Mountain, so that's, I think, a really fun one as well. Really brings a lot of interaction there. Ottawa is still always fun with the water and everything. I love that venue, although it's a little bit far away from our Ottawa folks. I love that venue. And then Tough Mudder at the same spot in Gopher Dunes for next year. And we're looking, we're looking to do certain things next year, maybe to grow the brand. But I'll leave it at that.
Amazing. Well, I'll vote for a toughest in Canada if I get to vote.
That would be fun. I would love that.
That would be very fun.
Give Jill anything that's longer than 4 hours, and she's a happy girl.
I might not be the fastest, but I'm dumb enough to stay the longest.
I love that.
Amazing.
Me, on the other hand, that I'm like, give me more flat and fast. Like, bring Red Deer a little bit closer to Ontario, because I hear amazing things about Red Deer.
Yes.
Like year after year after year, it's like such a talked about race. I personally haven't been because I'm in Ontario. It is on my list of my race bucket list, I call it. So all these races that I want to go to that are maybe just a little bit of a hike, it's on that list. So Brimacombe is also usually flat-ish compared to other Ontario races. So.
Yeah, we're definitely, we always have a portfolio of venues we're looking year after year, and there's one in specific that's a backup to one other race that's very flat out east. So who knows? Maybe we'll see it next year.
Amazing. Well,
yeah, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to having these conversations and podcasts with you guys a bit more. And I know we always talk about how fun and how amazing everything is, but it is good to receive some feedback. So if you do get some feedback from the community on different things they don't like, there's always limits as to what we can and can't do. Especially that we have to follow the product and there's standards and procedures and all this. But it's always good to hear from the community, good and bad. And I think you guys are at the heart of it, and I'm excited for this.
Okay, well, that is the perfect opportunity for our listeners to either comment on this or reach out to Jill and I, because we're always listening, and we may dive deep into your questions or your comments on an upcoming episode. So you guys, like this, comment on it, do all the things, reach out, because like Nic said, we want to hear from you guys and we want to talk about those things. So there's that. Anyways, I guess with that said, I guess we're kind of coming to the end of our episode today. So Nic, I want to thank you for joining us on here today. Not the first, not the last.
It's my pleasure. It's really always my pleasure to be here. And yeah, it's always nice at the start of the year to have this ritual where we just dive deep into everything Spartan. It's good.
Yeah. And I think it's exciting for the listeners to hear from somebody who's like very much so like in the thick of it, making things happen in so many different ways. So I will say on behalf of the Spartan community, thank you so much for all you do to bring these races, to Ontario and Canada and make them happen. And you're always forward thinking, which is exciting. And that's why we love having you on here, because we're like, hey, what's coming next?
Wow. Well, I'll take that to heart, and I'll keep it as a motivation to keep working hard for you. But I will also relay that information to the whole crew, because we do work extremely hard to put these on. Sometimes you wouldn't even believe the challenges, but we try to make it all kind of like a ballerina. We try to make it look all easy. So really appreciate that, and we'll keep working for
Pretty
you
at the end of the day.
Exactly, precisely.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not about the journey; it's just about the destination, right?
Exactly.
Which in fitness, most of the time, it's about the journey. But anyways, we're just
That's
going
right.
the opposite, because Spartan is just, they like to beat their own drum anyway. So anyways, all right, guys, you heard it. If you've got questions, comments, hit us up, comment on this, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.